Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. We've now got the next 3 stages of the Hachette Parkway release of Build the Spitfire Mk1a. You're probably wondering why I'm laughing. It's because I've just started filming this before the bit that you're just seeing now, and I made the same mistake that I did earlier on. I started building stage 83, which I've already done, so that one's going off to my brother in Canada, so I'm starting from 84 onwards. I've had to start this all over again. Crazy, absolutely crazy. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing the rear stand, which is going to provide the elevation and pitch for the plane. I've actually got that down here, so I will show you that later. And when we do go over to the stand, the sound will change because I'm going to be using my mobile phone to film it. But for these 3 stages, without further ado, let's get cracking. So let's get it right this time. Stage 84, a nice easy stage for us. All we're going to be doing is taking a motor, putting a label on it. We're also going to put in some label on the switches here. Then we're going to be mounting these to that motor, and then this is going to be mounted into the stand. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be taking the motor looking like this. We've got a sticker to put on here which says MB, and that's just going to go on here like that. And that's actually all we've got to do for the rear motor at the moment, because we're going to be working back on the right hand side motor that we had last time. Now this was the stage that we're up to. All we've got to do now is fit the switches for this. And just like last time, we're going to be putting the red one against the red lead just at the top in here like that. This is going to be held in the hole just there with a 1.7 by 6mm screw. These are quite long and look like that. So that's just going to go in here. There you go. And in a similar fashion on the bottom here, we're going to be putting the bottom one. That's just going to go over this section here. And as you can see, because it's already at the bottom, the switch is already activated. And once again, held in place with the same screw. I'll put that in there and tighten it up. So there we go. That looks just like that. Now we do have this stopper at the top, which is going to go in like that. It's got a habit of falling out, these have, but what we need to do now is put this in the stand. So this is a right hand side motor, so it's going to go on here. The motors actually face furthest away from each other, so this one's just going to go on just like that. And that's held in place by 2 times 5mm screws. We're going to need 4 of them. And then that'll keep that in place. Every time I look at this stand, I'm just thinking, God, how big it is. And this is the last one here, number 4. So as you can see, we've got a motor on the right hand side with the switches. Just gonna put the switches around here for a minute, and a motor on the left hand side with the switches. And that's all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 85, as you can see, we're going to be doing the 3rd motor here, pretty similar to what we've been doing before. We're going to create this motor up. We're going to be putting the, create the housing up, put the motor in that we created in the last stage, and then we're going to be attaching this to the base. So as you can see, we've got all 3 motors in there. Now, because we've done this 2 times before, I'm thinking we should be a complete dab hand at doing this. So, let's see if that's the case. What we're going to do, we need this part here first, and the shaft. We're going to be putting the shaft through just like that. Once again, we've got a little bearing in here, which I'm just going to cut off. Get that out, and that bearing is going to be fitting on top of that thread. Then we're going to be putting the housing on top, which looks like this. Before we do that though, we need to put this time a metal shaft. This isn't like a plastic one like we had last time, but as you can see, you've got 2 holes down the bottom. That's going to go in that way, just like that. And then we can put the cover over the top. So that's going to kind of hold everything into place there. Now we're going to be putting 2.3mm screws through either side here to keep this in place. Now these are really tiny. So I've loaded one up there, looks like that. These are quite too tight to put in. You need to make sure that these holes here are lined up. But it's not that easy, I have to say. Here's the second one. And when they're in, they should fit flush in there like that. We can put that to one side. I'm just going to put the cover back over the top again. So there we go. That looks like that. But we can put that to one side. And we've got this socket and cable with this end here. We're going to be putting a tab on that. And this time the tab says CB. No idea what CB stands for. I'm wondering if it means control board. Could be. But there we go. That's in place. We want to put this into this shaft here, which means that we need to pass this cable through the bottom. So it comes out the other side. Thread it through. Just like this. There we go. And then we just screw this end into here. So that should be flush in the top. Quite hard to screw that without crossing the threads. But there we go. That's in. This whole cable then is going to be going down the tube that we created last time, which we had an enormous amount of fun putting in. So it comes out the bottom here. And for this you will need some tweezers because obviously you've got the screws in there that are coming through the other side. Probably would have been best to actually do that afterwards, but there you go. Push that all the way through, and then we're going to be mounting this at the top so it slots into these two sections here, and we're going to be putting some screws in either side of here. Once again, these are the small 2x3mm screw, just like that, nice and tight, and then one just in the other side here. Excellent. Put that to one side because we're going to continue what we normally do now, which is we're going to be creating the base. So we need this section here and this section here. That's going to go on like this. We're used to this part now. We've got the 2x5mm screws going in at each side here. So one this side, one the other side. And then once again, we're going to be taking this motor section that we worked on. This is going to be going into this side here. Then we're just going to cap that off with this side here, making sure that that tab goes through like that. And then this is held in with 2x5mm screws. We also want to put two of the screws just down on these flat parts here. So one in this side here. And one in the other side. Then we're going to take the motor that we had in the last stage and we're going to be putting this in. It's going to go in this way here. Line that up. Once again, 2x5mm screws. It is the screw of choice, but this time they're the PWB screws, which means they're the screws with the flange on them, like that. So one in here and one on the other side. Excellent. Now we've got some gears to put in on this side here. So once again, we've got this large gear looking like that. That's just going to go over that section there. Push that all the way down. So that's in. Then we've got this tiny shaft, which is going to go into the hole just there. We've got the bigger gear here with the small gear at the bottom. It's going to go this way round with that small gear down, making sure that the gears interlocked with each other, which that one has. And then finally, we're going to be putting this gear here over the top with the lip facing up, not down. The lip needs to be facing up. So there we go. That's in there just like that, as you can see, and it's perfectly flush. The reason that lip needs to be up is because it sits inside this little groove there. That's what we're going to do now. We're going to close this off by putting this over the top. Just like that. And that's going to be secured in once again with a screw of choice, 2x 5mm screw. We need 4 of these. There we go, that's closed all of that up. Nice and tight in there. And that's the motor completed. In a similar fashion to what we did last time, we've got some switches here, which means we are going to need to put a little sticker on them. This time the sticker says SB. Switchback, perhaps that means. So I'll get this on. They only wrapped this around the red lead last time, from what I remember, as long as it's labelled. But it is the red one that I need, because once again, just like last time, the red one's going to go in this way, and that's going to be held in with one of the really long fin screws. Perfect at making these now. And then one just down the bottom, which is going to activate because the switch is already all the way down there now. Put that through there, tighten that up. So that's the 2 switches on, and now we need to go back over to the workstation. So this time we're going to be taking the plate that looks like this. That's going to go underneath the stand so it comes out the other side here. So if I lift that up, line it up there, make sure all these lugs go through. So there you can see the 4 lugs just there. Now when we put this in, this motor is going to be facing towards the middle there. So this is going to go on, make sure I don't pinch any wires here, just like that there. Once again, held in with 2x 5mm screws. So one on this side. One down the bottom. Not quite sure what the wire tidy solution is for this at the moment. Obviously the Spitfire and the base is going to be on here, and that's where the diorama is going to be. And there's the last one in there. Perfect. So that's the motor in place. And that is all there is to do in that stage. So as you can see, the last stage comes with a massive box here. Not sure at all what we're doing, but let's have a look. We've actually got the plates here. They come separate that are going to go over these motors here. So we're going to be tidying up the wires by the look of it. We've got some clips to put in for here. That's all the wires. Lucky I mentioned that last time. We've got a battery box to put in. Don't have any batteries for that, but it looks like they're C-cell batteries. I will confirm that afterwards. There's a switch there. It's going to go into the side of the base. And then once that's all in, we're going to start putting these panels in. So half of this is going to be covered in panels, which means a lot of this work is going to be done at the workstation. Did I say half? I meant pretty much everything that we need to do is going to be in this stage. So I'm going to get all of these parts out. And just so you know, yes, they are C-cell batteries that are going to be going in there. So just for my own peace of mind, I'm just going to turn this around so it's the same way as in the picture. And we're going to be putting some clips in to keep things tidy. So one clip is going to be going just behind the rear motor here. I've got this in my hand so I can line this up. We've got another clip going between these 2 points here, around about there. They've got it slightly lower in the picture. I don't think it matters, to be honest with you. Another clip is going to go just there. Hopefully you can see all this. I think you can. And then finally we've got another clip heading off towards the speaker by the look of it, because the speaker and the switch are in the same place over this side of the board. So that's going to be going around about, let's have a look, around about here, I'm guessing. I'll put it there. So it's time to do some wire tidy. So we're going to be taking the switch wire and this wire here, and we're going to be putting these into the first clip down the bottom, just like that. And then we're going to route it round all the way up to here. Now I'm guessing here is where the control board's going to be. So the second one's going to go in here, just like that. With this side, just take this wire off here. Going through the clip at this side as well. There we go. I do think I might have to move one of these clips because of the control board, but I'm just putting it where it told me to. That's going to go into this clip at this side, and then over to where the speaker and the switch is going to be. Untangling that there on this side, and then finally all the cables that are coming from this section once again are going to be going over here as well. So I'm going to put these in one at a time. Just so I can keep them all in one place. And there you go. Kind of tidied the wires up. Oh, there's one more. That's from the back there. And that will go in here as well. Excellent. Perfect. And yes, it is the battery board that's going into this section here. So that's what these two holes are down there. Hopefully you can see that. Let's just move that a little bit closer. There you go. So you've got two holes there. The battery board's going to go over here. So this clip will need to be around about there, I'm guessing. Now the screw box is held in with 2 KB screws, which are really tiny screws here, but they are just going into the wood. So you don't want to over tighten them. So as soon as you feel resistance, stop. So that's 1 and 2. And you see, that's in nice and tight. All we need then is the switch, which looks like that. Once again, we've got another little label to put on that. That's going to go on here. The label says SA. And the switch is just going to be going into here like this and just pushed in to the hole there. Oh, it's fun moving these. Now these two suction cups I'm just going to take out for a second, because we're going to start putting the panels in here now. Now these panels, as you can see here, remind me of Formica. So, don't know. So the first one is going to go into this section here. They go portrait way if it's if your thing is landscape there. The second one is going to go over these points here, 1 and 2. That's going to fit in like that. And then the third one just on this side here. Not sure what's going to hold them into place, to be honest with you. Bit strange, but I'm just pushing that down so that this is level on top, as you can see. That looks perfect, but that's all we've got to do. So just taken the base off my phone, you've got this wood here where I can't see any way this is being held in. So if you ever need to access the motors, I can't see that being a problem at all. But there you go. So we've got another 3 to put in there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cups back in. So I've got the cups here, 1 there, and then 1 there. That's the cups back in. And I think what I'll do is I'll put the Spitfire on so you can see how that looks. And there you go. That's what it looks like with the Spitfire on. Now what I have noticed is obviously down the bottom they're going to basically do the banking of the wings, but at the back, the reason we put that cable through is because that's where it's going to plug into the Spitfire. So that's going to provide all the power to the Spitfire. So if you are going to display this without the stand, you're going to need another power option, because all of that comes through that lead there. Pretty interesting. But now you can see why the base is so big, because when the Spitfire's on it, it doesn't look that big at all, really, does it? So, but that is the end of that stage. And there you go. That's those 3 stages done. And it is interesting to see now how we're powering the Spitfire. Quite an ingenious thing. It's actually going to be powered from the baseboard in those C-cell batteries. So all you modders out there, 4 C-cell battery mod I think we're going to be needing if you want this on all the time. But I hope that's been an insight for you. I hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.